education. They're not listening. It was a heck of a lesson that we did last night. We'll talk more about it. Let me ask that question before we get started. Anybody take that futures trade last night that I taught you how to take 5 days out of the week? Oh, let me see if anybody took it because it was quite good. I talked to a couple people on the phone. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Jennifer did, Peg did, uh, everybody listened. You won't have to pay for futures if you do that one trade. That's my estimate because it's a simple setup and it's really a great trade that I developed over the years. And last night I was able to give it to you. And now we got it really ironed out that even people new to futures, okay, can do it. I think that's just an interesting thing. Nice thing about it, you put it on before you go to bed, set your stops, set your bracket order, and take your profit, and you wake up with a nice big win in the morning. I talked to Rhonda. You all remember her from the class. She took it. She took it with the Big E Mini. But it's always nice to see people listening and growing their account. And Lorna was in the class. I see her here. She took it. But I think last night's lesson sort of put everything together on trading the E-mini and the micro. So, Chuck, take it over. I want to get that out there and take it over right now, and I'll be listening.
All right. Thank you, Tom. And certainly we're having a great day here at DTI. Remember, if you want to keep up with what's going on, make sure you join Tom's free YouTube page. Go to dtitrader.com/YouTube. Click the bell to subscribe and go ahead and like that video. I want to also let you know that you can join Tom's free Telegram, dtitrader.com, to get tips and information, much like you heard Tom just talking about. We do have a risk disclaimer here, so let's go ahead and put that out there. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone are going to be responsible for the trading decisions you make. So those who make responsible decisions, congratulations. Always consider risk as you approach the market. Remember that past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so crude, we're keeping an eye on that. Open last night 104.93, trading up to 105.48. Crude futures having a pretty big downturn today. They made it down to 101.08, currently trading 101.63. Always keeping an eye on the news out of Iran. This week, this is the third trading day of May. It's the second trading day of May for European markets, which were closed on Friday. We got big earnings coming up this week, including AMD after the bell today. And given what you're seeing in Intel, pay attention to advanced micro devices. And also, by the way, smaller one doesn't make everybody's list, but Supermicro, SMCI, also out there. We've got the employment situation reports are coming up at the end of the week, so we're kind of building up into that. We'll see how things go. And a couple key levels here. Current high of the month, 7,300.75. That's also the all-time high for the S&P futures. Our week opens 72.76 quarter. A lot of that big move this morning was climbing back to that open of the week after getting above that open of the month at 72.56. Current low for the month of May, 71.99.50. You might want to keep those two numbers in mind because when we get to the end of the day, they might be a little bit important. Now, Tom, do you want to express an opinion of the market other than what you've already told us, or do you want to hold off?
No, I do, folks. We're in the third day. The third day is big here at DTI. We'll get into the 3-day algo, but I think people are starting to see the big picture. I'm getting love letter after love letter of people dropping me a line saying, "Hey, Tom, that insight you gave me really helped my trading," or something like that. Nothing severe, but I keep telling people you shouldn't have to pay for anything as long as you listen and take what I tell you because it works. And that's we'll call it the T-Buzz guarantee. It does work. And if you ought to be doing quite well if you listen at all. But I will tell you, the market itself it's very significant that the range has been 7,300 to 7,299 the first 2 days, If we take out the 7,300 today, then that's a real good sign going into day 4. And when we get to the 3-day algo, we'll try to identify some of the early movers that you can take advantage of. And Chuck will probably go through what I posted this morning in the TNT room, because I gave you 3 movers. Intel was in the top position. MU was in there this morning. I said buy it above 605. That's enough to I guess have a nice looking walk down sort of that John Travolta walk from Saturday Night Live, if you remember that one. Saturday Night Fever. I said live, but Saturday Night Fever. But that brought back memories. But anyway, the point being is that we're trying to make you money by educating you. The whole thing we do is about education. I believe in it. And I believe if you're out there, I don't care if you got 0 experience or been doing this 40 years, I can help you improve what you're doing, because, folks, I lost a lot of money learning this game. And any facet you want to learn, all you got to do is ask the question, and we do it. Today, we're going to focus on Tuesday. I call it Trade Day. Jonathan's got a great presentation that he'll be giving. And right now, my pivot number today was 7255. We'll see if it's got any strength after Genesis to go higher. That's my opinion.
All right, well, Tom, I like that you told them what I'm gonna say about the TNT channel, and then immediately told them everything about the TNT channel, which was incredible this morning. But yeah, Magic 5, Intel, Tesla, Micron, QQQ, SPY, pivot at 72.55, and coming out with the moneymaker over there, big support and resistance numbers. We saw the market play through that. I think the key, though, that pivot number 72.55, and of course paying attention to the market, the open of the week 72.76 quarter, cross one, go to another. That's kind of the way the market worked out this morning. So great job getting everybody set up in the morning, and of course there is much more to come in this market. Now, we do have the annual Sawgrass Workshop I want to tell you about, coming up at the end of this month going into June. And really looking forward to that. You see everybody on the steps there leading up to the clubhouse and where we'll be having the class. We got the team here with Jeff, Tom, and Jonathan. Of course, what's covered? Sunday night meet and greet. We got live trading covered throughout the sessions, talking about probabilities, looking for bigger gains, smaller losses, kind of controlling that risk and setting up the reward, and how each day offers an opportunity and the questions you should ask yourself before entering a trade. We want to look for stock opportunities each day of the week, each day that you're down there, and we want to show you how to establish a solid plan that helps you achieve your goals each week in the market. So put that together, how to become a trader, essentially. Day 1, we start with the meet and greet, cocktails and appetizers. And of course, you want to hang around for Tom's the plan for the week's trading. I got to rework that, but we got to come up with a Sunday night planning, basically. What we're doing is setting up the market, and Tom does a great job of doing this. I don't know if you guys attend that every time. You should. If you don't, make sure you check in Telegram, because there's usually a good bit of information posted there. But that live session is certainly worth going to, and one of the best ways to get there is to go to the YouTube channel and check everything out from there. Now, day 2, this is our Monday. We come in June 1st. We've got breakfast. So we're going to feed you guys. You know that. Strategy, education, and live trading. And then we break for lunch, feeding you guys again. Come back in, strategy, education, and live trading again. And then we've got a VIP cocktail reception and dinner at the end of the day. Keep you guys well fed and ready to go for our next session, which starts with breakfast early in the morning, moves to the live trading and education, break for lunch, and more live trading and education. Now, the venue, it's going to be at TPC Sawgrass. If you're not familiar with the golf world, that's the Players Championship course at Sawgrass. Sawgrass is just south of Jacksonville, Florida. great little place to visit, and you will be amazed at how beautiful that layout is. Walk by one of those lakes and just careful, watch out for the alligators. I don't think they're going to be an issue, but because we'll be inside, but be aware and just take in that beauty. It is a beautiful place to go and visit. Now that course, we're going to keep a few sessions open here. $9.97 for the annual Sawgrass Workshop. Call 904-706-3532 or go to dtitrader.com/sawgrass. Iguanas, yet no, it'll warm up enough. We're not worried about the iguanas falling out of the trees this time of year. So we got that all taken care of. Now, if you want to keep up with what's going on, T-Buzz Weekly Trade Letter, a great way to be involved in that. The weekly trade letter went out last night directly after the market. Jonathan and Tom do a great job of putting that together. You'll get that broad market update, key news for the week, earnings to watch, weekly Magic 5 stocks, and special opportunities. And this comes out every week. So by all means, sign up $9.99 for 1 year access. Probably one of the best deals you're going to get. It's a steal right there at $9.99. Sign up at dtitrader.com/weekly.
Yeah, by the way, Chuck, we're going to raise the price to $99.90. So if you want to renew, you better get it done this week. It's $9.99. It's just too valuable to give away anymore for $9.99. So make sure if you're already an existing member or a new member, get on board at $9.99.
Okay, so these little sandwich.
Right. It was launched about a year ago, so the annual subscription is starting to run out. That's what Tom's referring to, looking at the new price point. You heard what he said there, guys. So can you renew for more than 1 year? Buck,
Right now you can, Buck. Right now.
Buck's finding that loophole already and making it known to everybody in the room. All right, great. dtitrader.com/weekly, $9.99 for 1 year access. All right, so Tom's books, we want to encourage you guys to get to a little bit of reading. Roadmap to the Markets plus the trilogy, Winning the Day Trading Game, The Markets Never Sleep and Trade to Win, all available on Amazon.com. And we've got a quick link here for you guys to check out an audio portion of Winning the Day Trading Game at dtitrader.com/WDTG. Online public resources, Forex Factory, Econo Day, Earnings Whispers. Got to keep some of those sites up as you're going through the day. And then the exchange sites, especially important as you go into holidays or looking at extreme situations in the market, CME, NYSE, and Eurex. Resources here at DTI, we've got the white paper booklet, Tom's YouTube page, which, by the way, hello to everybody in YouTube land. We got a few logging in there. Make sure you like and subscribe as you come in and say hello in the chat room. Great to see everybody there. We've got important terms that you want to know, Tom's penalty tape, the BNN interview, and of course, options education resources, dtitrader.com/optionsedu. You might have noticed if you're hanging around, we tell you what we're looking at and how the market's performing, and often Tom will approach that and how to trade it. He'll approach it with an option trade. So make sure you're understanding what sort of spreads we're looking at and kind of give you a little bit of insight into what's going on. That's a great resource to keep up to date and go through and research what it is we're doing. Now, the FTD stocks for May, we're getting to the point here where this is going to be a big deal. This is the third trading day of the month. Let me go ahead and click that link and let's move in here and take a look. Jonathan has us updated 10:45 a.m. Eastern. We'll get a new update coming in pretty soon. You notice the VIX current 1745 in between the 2-day high and 2-day low, obviously. And, as Tom mentioned, he talked a little bit earlier about if we go up and make that new high in the S&P, it'll be a big deal. Right now, what we're paying attention to is when we look at that current, that last price, how close is it to either the 2-day high or the 2-day low? Obviously, if you're kind of bullish in the market, you want it to be a lot closer to that 2-day high, maybe even making a new one before the end of the day, because that's the momentum, that's the ease of access. What's going to be easier? Move just a few points to make a new high, or move a lot of points to make a new high? Obviously, the less amount of points you got to go, the better it is for the bulls. And as we look at the market here, 2-day high and 2-day low, I feel really good about the S&P. I feel, wait, hang on, NASDAQ 28. NASDAQ's already made a new high. I feel great about the NASDAQ. And if I'm looking at the Dow, yeah, not really the best performance. Take a look at that 2-day mid. That gives you an idea. S&P is above the 2-day midpoint. NASDAQ really above it, and the Dow below it. So got a little slight bit of divergence. What's going on with the Dow? We'll see as some of their companies report earnings this week if that sort of starts to change. Come down the list through some of our futures markets: crude, gold, silver, bonds, Bitcoin. We go into what is this? Soybeans, wheat, ZC, corn, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see how those go, and then get down into some of our ETFs, and then come all the way down into some of these big stocks. Let's get down into the heart of the matter.
And Chuck, I'm going to take it from you here because I'm about to take over the slides anyways.
Yeah, so Intel and crew.
There's Intel, yeah, 108. You said it hit 110.5 or so this morning.
Yeah, 110.48.
We'll talk about Micron during today's presentation as well. It went up to 636, a little bit higher than that. But I want to scroll down for now, since we'll talk about Intel and Micron later. We just talked about the weekly trade letter for $9.99 a year, and Tom's special opportunity. Part of that letter is you get 5 stocks to make money from, and then a special opportunity. Well, this week, Tom, your special opportunity is Archer Daniels Midland, and I know you want to say something about that because I don't know if you checked out that stock this morning, but it's looking real nice.
All I can tell you, we can't do this letter anymore for $9.99, and it's going to change. So those that act now, Napoleon Hill had a saying: procrastination leads to indecision, indecision leads to failure. You better re-up if you want to be this. This special opportunity paid for about 5 years worth under Archer Daniel Midland. So it was a special opportunity of the week. That's all I want to say. No need to say anything else.
No need to say anything else at all. Well, let's dig into today's lesson. It'll be kind of step 2 from yesterday. So day 2 of the week is day 3 of the month, but Tuesday means it's trade day. So let's talk about a few things about how we set up Tuesday. We're going to look at, number 1, what we look for on Tuesdays. Number 2, how we set things up, and specifically we'll focus on the top 10 tickers for the week in the Magic 5 from today. Number 3 is option strategy and setting triggers. Tom, that's where I'll get your help from in today's presentation. And then number 4, we'll talk a little bit about Futures Plus education that Tom mentioned earlier. Today was a great session last night and it was a great trade. So let's dig in. All right, what we look for on Tuesday. Tuesday is trade day. So, what does that mean? You probably hear it all the time. Tuesday is trade day. What does that mean? Well, yesterday we talked about Monday and how we like to look at the high and low from Monday to set a frame. And because of that, this process, Monday is usually a watch day, although we do some trading if the market's really hot or really, really weak on Monday, we'll do some trading. But Monday is typically a watch day. And with Monday being a watch day, setting up, really the week's trading, that means Tuesday's trade day. So we call it the week start trading frame, the weekly trading frame, the week start high and low frame. Week start is usually on Monday, right? Unless Monday's a holiday, the week start would be a Tuesday. But we find the high from that week start day. So let's just say Monday's high, and we also find Monday's low. And that gives us a really good picture, a really good frame to trade from for the rest of the week. And it works very similarly to the 3-day algo for the month, where, we basically want stocks to get above that high and trend. And in fact, whether you're on a weekly time frame, a monthly time frame, or even a shorter time frame, if you're trading with a high-low frame, the only way for a stock to trend is to get above that frame to the bullish side, or for it to fall below that frame to the bearish side. So that makes the high-low frame process, regardless of your time frame, it makes it pretty critical to everything we do here at DTI in terms of seeing a clear picture, connecting those dots, or in this case, putting those puzzle pieces together as kind of the theme of this presentation. So let's talk about a bullish trend for the weekly frame. Stocks will trend bullish when they rise above the Monday high. Stocks will trend bearish when they fall below the Monday low. Pretty simple concept, right?
Can you
Very
think of
important.
any stocks that qualify?
Oh yeah, we're getting to that, absolutely. One thing though, before we do anything trade-wise, before we click that mouse, got to know where you're wrong. And Tom refers to that as the all bets off, the ABO level. And the standard process with any frame is when you have a high-low frame, if you get long above the high, the stop goes below the low. You can refine that based on the 5-day numbers as well. Sometimes the 5-day low will be too far down there, and you'll have to raise it up above the Monday low. But sometimes the Monday low and the 5-day low will be real close together, and it might make more sense to put your low below the 5-day low. So that's some discretion there, but this is our standard way of setting all bets off. Any questions on that? You got to know where you're wrong before you get into any trade. And this is a fantastic starting point. Got a request to post the slides again. We'll post them up. All right, first example today is going to be on Intel. So here's your Intel numbers. Intel opened first of all, if you've been listening to Tom, been showing up to training trade, Sunday planning, midweek market update, Intel is top of mind. It's one of the best, better opportunities out there trading wise, at least in our mind. And it comes into this week with a month open 93.20. Week open was 99.18. You can see there on the slides. On the metric, excuse me, week open 99.18. Yesterday's high was 99.82, and the 2-day high was 100.45. We actually mentioned in yesterday's training trade that you could set an alert at 101 or maybe 101.11 just to stay informed on Intel for higher prices. Now, my alert went off this morning. If you set an alert, it would have gone off this morning because on RB3, the open was 100.5 above all those other key levels. And it did, in fact, get above 101. And then the stock just took off up to 110. Now, did anybody take a trade on Intel? Type in the chat if you did take a trade on Intel. Jennifer did. She's up $1,400 today. She says to Tommy like this, Jennifer's covered a lot of sins with today's Intel trade. Sean said he bought as much as he could. Made money. David, yes. Vern, yes. Dinosaur Skip, yes. Brian is up about 5K. This is really good to see. Diana took an Intel trade, made 100% in 10 minutes. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Diana, did you use this Friday's expiration on that? Pretty aggressive. Yep, she did. Okay, Peg 70% on an option. Yeah, Frank up 1,600 bucks. Just trying to post all these. Junior's up 2K. Don, what do you think about all this?
You know, this makes me smile, and for that reason, I'm gonna give it a trade today.
Okay. I went out and picked an option. Some of you may have taken this one. Some of you got more aggressive. This was 30 days out. It was around a Delta 30, just to showcase. You know, we always talk about 30 to 45 days out with these, unless you're super, super aggressive. About Delta 10 to Delta 50. I just chose the Delta 30 because it was at a reasonable $3.50 price. Well, that option went up to 750, over 100% return. And that's a 5-minute chart, so you can see maybe 30, 45 minutes. Just an awesome run on Intel this morning. Let's go into step 2 of today's session, which is how we set things up, the top 10 and the Magic 5. I have listed here the top 10 from Sunday, the 10 stocks there: QQQ, SPY, AMD, Apple, Amazon, AGQ, Google, Tesla, Intel, and Micron. Now, today's Magic 5 was Intel, Tesla, Micron, QQQ, and SPY. And I bolded those just because they aligned in both lists. See that? I bolded the 5 because they were included in top 10 and they were included in today's Magic 5. And I think in terms of narrowing our focus in today's education, I thought that was a good way to do that.
And let me point out something. In TNT, folks, I sort of rank those I think of horses. And so if it's in the first one I identify in TNT, that at the time I write it in there is my top pick. And second pick, third pick, fourth pick, and fifth pick. I do it that way to let you know that, hey, I'm really liking Intel because I'm using the opening price from the previous night, and I've got some background information that tells me Intel is going to run. And, you know, just where you'll know that in TNT, okay?
Yeah, and there's that posting.
Yeah, why ride in a station wagon when you can ride in a sports car?
So we did a little work today, putting these numbers on paper. I wanted you to see the process here, what you can do on your own. Now, we've had 2 days, right, in the month of May that are set, and that's what the 2-day high and low is. That's from the first trade day of May, second trade day of May, and put a midpoint on there too. The first thing you do is look at this and say, are we above the midpoint? And all of those are. And the second thing you do is say, well, on day 3 today, are we trading above the high from the prior 2 days? So let's pick out the ones that are. Intel 2-day high was 100, current price 109, Intel clearly on the list. Tesla 397, current 394, so Tesla needs to get above 397. And it has that Century Market 400 there too, so you might see if we can get above 400 after the 3 days set. Micron, look at that, 592 to 636. Now we've already looked at Intel, so I'm going to look at Micron as an example next. All right, but look at Micron. And then we have QQQ 676, current 680, so it's made a new high. And then we have SPY 724 and 722. It has not, which is kind of interesting. If you recall from yesterday, the QQQ was relatively stronger than the SPY yesterday as well. So here's your example on Micron, all right? Micron opened the month at 511.78. In the metrics, we see Micron opened the week at 560. It made a high yesterday all the way up at 592. So that made the 2-day high, 592.80. Now this morning it opened at 609.77. The stock is screaming. And as the time I wrote this or took this picture, the high of the day was about 651. Now, Peg has a question for you, Tom. She says she has 20 shares of Micron long. Do you have a recommendation for a stop?
I looked at that this morning because Peter, who I'm doing a one-on-one with, he has a lot of Micron, and he was asking me, Tom, where should I protect myself on this stop? I said, well, let's look at MTI. We did, and the line gave us 594 on the short term, Peg, 594. as a place using MTI, one of our tools. That way it takes the emotions out of it. So it gives me a chance to say, oh, okay, use the MTI. And he did. And he looked at it. He said, that makes a lot of sense. Now, when somebody gets a bonanza like this, obviously the market will hit a point and then start correcting. You got to have some process to take profits. And if you want to stay with it, that's a good tool to use for staying with something that is, making all your dreams come true, so to speak, right, Peg? And anyway, I wanted to share that with you because that was a question I had with my one-on-one. And Peter's decided he's going to come back for a one-on-one in December. And that shows you just how powerful sitting face-to-face. Brought his son, and by the way, he's going into the clothing business. You ought to see what this guy can do. So if anybody's interested, send an email to Roe@DTI Trader, and we'll forward it to Phelps. You ought to see what this guy can do with his hands. I mean, this is going to be a big thing. He makes it from scratch. And he was talking about all the stuff he's able to do, and I think he's launching a clothing line there. So you could be one of the first to wear, clothes by Phelps. Or anyway, it's pretty interesting watching this stuff. I know that I can't wait till he starts producing and customize things. But send an email if you're interested, because I think you'd find it interesting for a guy that's young trying to start a business. It's going to be a good one. I'll just tell you that up front. I know you wouldn't expect that, but I thought I might as well throw it out there to you. They're laughing because they can't believe I did that, but I don't care.
Hey, Tom. Well, I
Yes,
got
sir.
your attention. We want to go live, and I want you to get your insights about what type of option strategies to pick, and maybe more importantly, how to set
Sure, we're
trades.
not giving why don't I pay people for being here? Y'all want me to pay y'all for being here? Who would like me to pay you for sitting it through this great lesson? Now you got to bring somebody the next time I do this, because I can't just be throwing money at you like this, but I'm going to do it today because I'm in a pretty good mood, if that makes. Okay. So how do I pick option strategy? Let's pick a stock. Let's see. We got a lot of stocks to pick. We got 8,000 stocks to pick. Let me pick one out of the air. How about Intel, Jonathan? Intel. Let's go to Intel. Okay. I'm going to teach you how to make 25%. So we're going to look at Intel, and Intel today's 109.40. If it goes above 110.55, it's going to go a lot higher, but I don't have it needed to go above 109.55 to make money off Intel. Jonathan, put the daily up there, if you will. Tell me the 10-day low. Can you count it?
Let's hop over to the trade tracker real quick. Find Intel. Intel right here. The 10-day low, man, that's all the way down at 65.
Okay. That's cool. What's the 5-day low?
5-day low is 85.
Perfect. All right, let's go to the option chain. Let's look out to June. Let's go to June, what do you say, June 18th. I think that's the cycle, right? June 18th.
Yeah, June 18th is the third Friday, June.
Okay, and what do you got? 85? They got 85, 82 and a half, something like that?
They do. It's marked around 51 cents midpoint.
All right, so that's a qualifier there. So we can do that option, sell the 85, buy the 82 and a half for 50, what is it, 52 cents or whatever?
Yeah, it is marked 52 right now.
And I say it's 25% return on risk because you got $2 of risk, you're getting 50 cents, 52 cents, right at 25%, right? 50 cents over $2 is 25%. How you like that, folks? I'm going to do the trade myself. I like it myself, so I'm going to do it. And then I'm gonna tell you how to tell you when you're wrong. I gave you how to be right, but let's do, Jonathan, call it out again where I can do it. June 18th, is it?
June 18th is the expiration. It's selling the 85 put and buying the 82.5 put for around 51 cents or so. 50 to 52, somewhere around there.
Sell verticals called. This is a premium capture. And somebody beat me to it. They're getting 50 cents, dirty dogs. Okay, so I did it for 50 cents. It's done. Now, how do I know I'm wrong? That's the big question. Okay, I wouldn't give you the trade unless there's a point that I would know I'm wrong. So let's go back to the roadmap after everybody gets the trade that wants to do it, right? How do I know where I'm wrong? All right, if you look at the market, does everybody see that $86 low there, Jonathan, where it broke out, that low of that bar? Yeah, right there. I would set an alert at 87. Why 87? If you remember coming up, I said if it goes above 87, that's off the earnings, that it's breaking out going to 92. It did the next day after it did that. So 87 is a good number to set an alert on this. And then the way it works is you're getting 50 cents, and this is May, correct? May, right? So you got 30, probably about 45 days. So 50 cents, if you straight line it over 45 days, if everything stays copacetic, you should make about 4 cents a day. So in 5 or 6 days, you might be up about 20 cents on this thing if Intel doesn't fall apart. How you like that? By the way, the people that join my Roadmap 25 program's got to be smiling. If you don't have the roadmap, slap yourself in the face. Jonathan, what do you think? Is that a good way to pick it and demonstrate what you're trying to do?
Yeah, that was perfect, Tom. Do you want to send that trade to TNT?
Yeah, put it in TNT if you don't mind.
What are we targeting, like 11 to 16?
Yeah, 11. Okay, let me tell you how to target that. You got 50 cents, 10 to 20 cents that Jonathan knows. So I'd say 11 cents, you put an order, good to cancel to buy it back. What do you think? You like that, folks? If you like that and you've been benefiting from my knowledge, send me a love letter to Roe@DTI Trader. I love reading these things. They motivate me. And when everybody typed that in there, I said, should I give him money? That pushed me over the edge. I said, here, this is what I'm doing. I might as well share it with you. Peter's having such a good day. He said he might just buy a place here on the plantation. I'm playing. He didn't say that. I just wanted to say he's having a good day. And Phelps, man.
We're going to give a few minutes.
If you want to get in contact with Phelps, Roe@DTI Trader. Send it to John. He'll let me know.
Roe@DTI Trader. Yep, okay. Maybe I can get one of those shirts. Middleman fee.
Yeah, you already got a customer there. Jonathan says he wants one.
Going to give just a few minutes for everybody to enter the trade. So we're just going to hang out for maybe a minute or two, and then we'll go back to the presentation, which is going to talk about Futures Plus education. We met last night for Futures Plus. A great session. We have a lot of great on-demand education ready to go for you. So give it another 45 seconds. We'll be back.
Yo, Bob. You right? I don't know if that's everything. Because there's so much of the supply and demand for it. There's more natural gas in this country than any. We got a bunch of it. Well, whenever I see it on the thing, I was like showing it, it's always bad. That's great. If you still have a little bit more time associated heating the house.
Yeah.
Instead of fuel oil or solar.
All right, Tom, let's talk futures first. Of course, anytime you're talking futures, there's risk in trading obviously all the time. Futures are leveraged, so there can be more risk, or depends on how experienced you are, I guess is the way that goes. But last night, you said to get long above 72.35 and stop below 72.19. We wanted to ask anybody if anybody took that trade last night.
I've talked to several people on the phone. Somebody said, Tom, why do you charge so little for this kind of education? I said, well, I've been trading futures for 40 plus years. If I can teach you how to make money where you can do it like in a Cadillac style, because I learned obviously a different way. I said, I'm going to give you the best of the best. And this is one of the best of the best trade lessons that I think we've taught. It's simplified it for people that get a little confused. Anybody here get a little confused sometimes? But this is something that I had a class. I showed people this in the class, and I said, last night, I'm going to make it a stable of people in my futures program, because I don't like the fact that you're in futures and you might put a little money out front, up front, but I'm working in your interest to try to show you how to use the knowledge I have, my experience, where you get the education for free. There shouldn't be anybody in my futures program had to pay for it by this time. And so I said, I really want to narrow it down and get everybody in sync and show people how to take 4 or 5 trades a week without me saying, hey, get in, get out. You can do it yourself. And, Roger this morning, he talked to me this morning. Roger's obviously a great student, and he works all day. He loves that night trade I taught him. And I sort of developed it from him. You don't have to stay up all night. You put a bracket order in and let it work. It's golden. But anyway, and we had a lot of people took the trade. You might print that out and show people who said they took it. Just let people, you need to join the futures program. It's always futures ahead. Phelps asked me that question. He said, why do I need to learn futures? I said, if you're going to trade stocks or stock options, know ahead of the people trading stock or stock options what the direction is going to be and when to keep your hands in your pocket. Futures is the best way to learn that. And we teach it. I think that's enough, Jonathan. I think I made my point.
Yeah, you mentioned one of our students, Roger. Wasn't Roger the one who got you involved, convinced you to come out of retirement on this?
Yeah. And the reason is, he works all day. He wanted to participate, but he's fixing people's kneecaps and shoulders and arms. And in fact, he is a great student, been in a lot of sessions. He's coming to Sawgrass. You get to meet him. And this is what you do. You're working your money that you have for risk to give you the best return possible. And that's what we're all about, showing you how to do that. But get joined for Futures First. It's a great program. And then if you really like what we do in there, come to one of our classes. Speaking of classes, Jonathan, I noticed that July, we can't take any more there. And the next small class, I think September, I think we got one spot left there. October starting to go, and in December, they'll be filled up. So if you ought to look at your calendar if you're interested, because that's going to go to the wayside, I think, pretty soon. Where I had to quit talking about it. We don't have any more room in 2026.
That's awesome. Yeah, I look forward to those in person. Oh, that's kind of the highlights of the year there. Traveling down.
I'm going to let you take it away, Jonathan. I'm going to go spend some time with Peter and Phelps right now, but I'll be back before you finish. Who knows? I might have another trade.
Like the sound of that. Now we've got over 60 lessons already in the on-demand recording archive for everybody, but here's a couple of the topics. Real early on, Tom focused on trading the first hour of the cash market. So it's not just about trading tonight with futures. It's about how to apply that same knowledge into the cash market hours. We talk all the time about the S&P and the micro S&P. Talk about futures options, talk about how to trade gold. That's a good one there. How Tom finds his daily pivot. Talk about how sell option spreads on futures. Futures options, they work slightly differently from stock options in terms of how their value is determined, but they still work the same way. The options are options. in terms of the, option price movement that's going to move based on the underlying movement. So we cycled through over and over again the education on the Seven Sisters. We talk about how to use your platform. So we oftentimes showcase Thinkorswim and Tasty Trade. We talk about using MTI by DTI with futures at night. I'm a little surprised they still have this 3-month deal open, but it is open. So take advantage of it if you want to get involved for a reduced price at 90 days. 90 days for $4.99. The 1-year price is, I think you can get involved with a 1-year on the order form here, detachable.com/futures. You can see what the 1-year price is, but 3-month price at $4.99. What it is 90 days of live futures plus education. You get access to the recording document, so you can review everything. We meet, this is an updated time. It used to be 7 p.m. on Mondays. Now it's at 8 p.m. Mondays. Every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Every session is recorded. Tom's already taught it. He'll teach it again about trading crude. Of course, that's a big one this year. Every single week, we teach you reference bar setups at night based on reference bar 1. Get weekly structured future setups if you're more of a swing trader. You get 3-day algo positioning framework. That's big time right now, start of May. Of course, you get options education for futures. And like I mentioned, you get access to the recording archive. So go to dtitrader.com/futures or call us 904-706-3532. I am going to play a stream that Tom did. You can learn more about futures from Tom's mouth, who can explain it a lot better than I can in terms of the value you get here. But go to dtitrader.com/futures. Give us a call, 904-706-3532. I'm going to go quiet and queue up that recording.